Crime 5.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Michael Carey, famous newspaper editor, mysteriously disappears! Extra! Extra!
Oh, Inspector, I'm so glad you've come.
I'm sorry to intrude on you like this, Mrs. Carey. You've already been hounded to death.
If only I was sure Michael's all right. I've been nearly crazy with worry. This was his boat, and he was so proud of it. Inspector, look.
What's the matter, Mrs. Carey?
There, just under the edge of the canvas. Why, it's... Oh, poor Michael. He always puts his glasses here when he was resting his eyes. He couldn't see a foot in front of him without them. Oh, Inspector, what am I going to do?
Now, Mrs. Carey, that's why I'm here, to try to solve all this.
If only you could, Inspector. But there's really nothing I can tell you. Michael just disappeared, and that's all I know.
Now, tell me how it came about.
Well, it was a Saturday afternoon. George Frost, my brother, was down for the weekend. He was in the garage just over there, and I thought Michael was with him. But as it turned out, he wasn't at all. When lunchtime came, Michael was nowhere to be found. He'd just disappeared into thin air.
Elaine!
Oh, that's George. I wasn't expecting him. Here we are, George.
He looks excited. Waving something, a letter, isn't it?
Elaine, good news!
George, you've heard from Michael?
You bet I have. He's all right, Elaine. He's all right.
Now, where is Michael, Mr. Frost?
Well, I don't know. I just got this letter in the afternoon mail delivered to my hotel. Well, I came right
A
out.
letter from Michael?
Yes, but it isn't all good news,
Let
Elaine.
me see it, George.
It's going to shock you, but it tells us he's alive, which is the important thing. Here it is.
Dear George, just read about my dramatic disappearance in the newspapers. I haven't been kidnapped. Nothing so romantic. The fact is, I've been on the edge of doing this for a long time. From now on, it's a new life for me. Something I've needed and wanted. Tell Elaine I'm sorry, but I just couldn't stick it out. I know you're worried about those bonds of yours I was keeping. Tell Elaine to give them to you. She knows where they are. Say goodbye to her for me. Michael.
I'm sorry, Elaine, but there was no keeping it from you.
Oh, how could he do this to me? I loved him, Inspector.
I know you did, Mrs. Carey. This is your husband's handwriting?
Yes, of course.
You're wrong. It's a clever forgery.
What do you mean?
Michael couldn't have written that letter, Mr. Frost, and he didn't desert Elaine. He's dead, I'm sure of it.
You're crazy, man.
You wrote this letter, George Frost, and I can prove it. Come along. You're going with me to police headquarters.
Yes, I killed Michael Carey. He wouldn't lend me money, and I had to have it. I tied his body to the sloop's anchor and lowered it into the bay.
And you might have got away with it, but for one slip. How could he write that letter without his spectacles, Mr. Frost? The spectacles that were left here on his boat.